Hey guys, welcome back to Don't Forget the Art. I am so excited that you are here, and of course, I am excited about this project today. We are celebrating Salvadore Dali because his birthday is May 11th. He was born in 1904, so I suppose he's celebrating his 118th birthday. He died January 23rd, 1989, and yes, I'm dating myself, but I was alive when he passed away, so that was kind of sad. And now looking back, cool at the same time. 85 years old is pretty good, I would say. He was a Spanish artist, and while he dabbled around with many different styles in art like realism, expressionism, impressionism, he is definitely best known for his surrealist pieces. And so we're going to be playing around with surrealism here. Now, I did do surrealism last year, if you remember, and we did talk about Salvadore Dali back then. So I have created a fun piece to celebrate his birthday and celebrate Salvadore Dali and, play around with surrealism again. It was one of my favorite styles, especially when I was in high school, junior high school. Still play around a little bit with it now. But yeah, it was definitely fun to do. So for this one, I am using my sketchbook again. I know you've been hearing me talk about my sketchbooks. This is my sketchbook. This is Bristol paper. It is kind of thick. It's really smooth and pretty thick. Got this at Hobby Lobby, but of course you can find them anywhere. But again, it's a really smooth paper, so interesting to work with compared to others. I'm also pulled out my ink pens. Thought I would play around with those again. You will also need a pencil sharpener. You don't have to use inks. You don't have to use color pencils. I threw some color in there, but you can use whatever you want. This is what I used. So, again, use what you've got around the house. Play around. You don't have to use these. Are the Faber-Castell ink pens, India ink pens that you hear me talk about. But even if you don't have something like that, you could use something as wonderful as, like one of these Uniballs, or just a regular ballpoint pen with, black ink would work out fabulous as well. Just be careful if you use something like this. If you're using it with, colored pencils or crayons or something like that, works out great. If you wind up mixing around with like something that's water solid, water, like watercolors or something, you're going to want India ink. It is waterproof, so it's not going to blend around with those waters. So either way, whatever it is that you would like to do, I had a lot of fun with this one. I hope you do too. So on to the project, and we'll talk a little bit more about Salvadore Dali when we're doing that too. So I'm not going to lie, I have kind of gotten out of the practice of doing surrealist type work. I had done it for years. It was one of my favorite styles when I was in high school and junior high. I don't know why. I'm sure it's probably because it was just something different and unusual and everything else. And that's just kind of where I was, different and unusual. Now I do more realistic things, I guess. I guess I'm kind of all over the place with my styles. I do fun stuff. I do, impressionistic stuff. I do cartoonesque type stuff. But, it's always fun to kind of come back to this surrealism. Why? Because it's, again, was one of my favorite styles growing up as a kid. And so it only kind of makes sense to play around with it, I guess, a little bit more. Didn't really know what to do though. Again, got really stuck, and I had played around with a few different ideas in one of my sketchbooks that I carry around with me all the time. And not sure why, but this one kind of just came to me. Just, I think I've been needing a vacation, And I know how relaxed and enjoyable it always is when I go camping with my family. And so I thought about this crescent moon and the idea of, being able to not just camp under the stars, under this amazing moon, but like on the moon. Because why not? I mean, it looks really awesome. I've got a kid who wants to be an astronaut, and I'm sure he would love to go camping on the moon. I keep hearing that one of these days we're going to be able to vacation on the moon. And while I'm terrified of heights, there's a part of me that would just love to go and do that. So, what would it look like to go camping on the moon? I also kind of thought about the stars kind of hanging there from the crescent. I don't know. Just felt kind of dreamy and fun and different and unique. So I went ahead and threw them in. And if we're camping, you got to have some trees around you. I'm not sure if they'd be able to grow trees on the moon. I'm pretty sure not, because there's no air. But I mean, you could stick some fake Christmassy trees up there and, do that, right? That would work. And I'm not really sure how soft or hard that ground would be, but I'm sure you could anchor a tent somehow down there. I'm just thinking. Anywho, so that was where I was at the time. I threw the clouds in there and everything else too. And then I started working on kind of drawing everything out. I outlined it with one of my smaller outliner pencils, or pens rather, first, and went from there. And then I decided I really wanted that background to kind of have this dark feel. I figured that would help the moon to pop out more, because as we talked about last year, contrast is a really big thing. If you want something to look lighter, you need things around it to be darker. So I wanted that moon to really stand out and really be bright. I didn't want the whole background to just be coated in black either. So I started hatching and hatching and hatching. We've talked, I think, before about how to shade, and I decided to do this kind of fun, patterny, non-pattern hatch work behind here. And it took a while. And I didn't figure you guys wanted to sit and watch me hatch the whole background thing out. And I also figured my family would like to spend some time with me too, because, well, it took a while. So...
One eternity later.
Yeah, about an eternity later, it was finished, or nearly finished. I figured I'd finish up the last little bit there. It did take a while. I'm happy with the result of it as it was finished, but it did indeed take a while. Now, even before I think I had finished or started with the hatch work, I had started putting some color in. While at first I was thinking I was simply going to put just black and white and use that, somehow I thought that maybe to help this pop just a little bit more, that the trees could use some color. I had done that when I was doing some of my sketchbook challenges with an ink painting, a picture that I had done, and I threw a little bit of color in there. And so I started with the trees, figuring that might help to pull them a little bit forward so they wouldn't kind of get sunk in with that crazy background. And then I thought that the stars would need a little bit of, yellow in them too. And it kind of just went from there. I also added the craters in with the moon after kind of looking at it a little bit and feeling like it just needed a little bit more oomph. Something that would really say this is a moon, or, something like that. And so yeah, that's where that came from. In the end too, I wound up adding some color to the tent and I wound up adding some, like a blue indigo, I believe it was called, to the background. Just a really kind of dark blue, but I put it on lightly. I wanted to still see all those hash marks that I made with my background, but at the same time I wanted to kind of show a little bit of color through there too. Not sure if I'm pleased with my clouds. They could be better, but you know, overall I really think I enjoy this piece. Now, with Salvadore Dali, he was quite a character. He was definitely a confident artist. I should take some notes from him, because when I was researching him a little bit more about him, and you know how he came up with his ideas and things like that, it was pretty interesting. One of the most interesting stories that I learned about him was that he actually dropped out of art school. He did go to art school. He dropped out before his finals. Can you believe that? Apparently, as the story goes, he didn't feel that any of the professors were, you know, worthy of grading his finals. He was just that confident in how good of an artist he was. He definitely was a good artist, and he did see fame in his time. He did a lot of things, from what I understand too, not just paintings, but I believe he got into like movies and things like that. He was quite an interesting man, and you know, quite an out there character, as you can tell just from looking at some of his pictures from back when. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have some fun creating a surrealist picture of your own. And here is my final project. I hope you enjoyed doing something, even if you didn't do this, something that's fun and dreamy and doesn't make sense and yet makes total sense at the same time, because that's what surrealism is. I hope you just have fun with it, because that's really what it is all about. It's about making memories and having fun and doing something out of the ordinary compared to, you know, your everyday deal. If you do create something, I would love to see it. You can share it over on the Facebook group. You can hashtag don't forget the art. I can hopefully find you doing that there. You're welcome to, you know, follow me on YouTube here, if that's where you are. You can, you know, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then you will see new things coming out. Try to get a project or so done a week, and I am really starting to think about what we're going to do over the summer, as well as over for next year already. So if you'd like to kind of explore this fun journey with me, I can't wait. I am really, really excited. I super duper enjoy doing these projects with you and for you. And I really enjoy seeing what you and your kiddos, you know, create as well. So, you know, put those out there and I'd love to see them. Take care, guys, and happy arting.